Hi everyone, welcome to Wigan Fan TV. Sorry we are a few minutes late. We've been trying to get Leigh on Derek Bowman online. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he can join us at this moment in time, but if he does pop up on our screens at any point, um, two of us will disappear. Derek will come on and we'll talk to Derek about what we were planning to talk to him about. Joining me tonight for second time is Matt McCauley. Hi Matt.
Hello.
Welcome back. Obviously, didn't put you off enough the first time, so thank you for coming back on and
Great
joining
to be
us.
here, thanks.
Not a problem. It's much appreciated. I'm taking up your Friday night again, but I'm also taking up for the first time Gareth Davis's Friday night. Gareth, welcome to Wigan Fan TV. Thank you for joining us.
No worries.
Do you want to just start, Gareth, with maybe just we were talking off air about a key subject that happened today, and I think it's probably a good thing to start the show with. You're obviously based down south. You can tell us a little bit about your involvement with the Cornish Rebels and the Rugby World Cup bid that happened today.
Yeah, so I'm based in Cornwall, so I'm an exiled rugby league and Wigan fan. And the Cornish Rebels Rugby League Club, which is the only rugby league club in Cornwall, they've been working closely with the Rugby League World Cup 2021 bidding process team. And today, the Cornish Rebels officially launched their sort of plans to bid to be part of the next World Cup, which obviously takes place in England in 2021, because in Cornwall there's proposed to be a new stadium that's going to be built, which will house Truro City Football Club, the Cornish Pirates Rugby Union Club, and the Cornish Rebels Rugby League Club. So it's a really big day for rugby league in Cornwall, and if we could take any part in the next World Cup, it'd be great, obviously for us in Cornwall, but great for the sport as well to see that it's developing in areas which it's never developed before.
Yeah, I mean, I was joined the other night by London Scholars General Manager Simon Fox, and one of the key reasons why I wanted Simon on was, one, Wigan were obviously playing the Scholars today, but I'm very keen and very passionate about this sort of expansion and growth of rugby league, and to have a Wigan fan based down there and so keenly involved with Cornish rugby, I think is fantastic, not only for the future of this programme, but I think a lot of Wigan fans will be very keen to hear from you over the coming months, particularly as the developments go. If anybody's not seen the press release, we'll put a link on later, which, Gareth, you actually wrote. You were telling me.
I helped write that with alongside a guy called Rob Butland and John Beach. One of them, I can't remember if it was Rob or John, was actually the RFL's Volunteer of the Year a couple of years ago. The Cornish Rebels have a tie-up with St Helens, whereby I think it was a year ago, a Cornish Rebels side actually went to St Helens and played the St Helens Academy side in the curtain raiser. I think St Helens played Castleford in a pre-season friendly, and so some of our guys went up there to play, which was a fantastic experience. And that partnership has developed over the year, whereby Rob, John, and the rest of the guys are going into schools into Cornwall and and introducing, teaching youngsters rugby league in what is a rugby union stronghold. It always has been, but hopefully that won't always be the case, and things are changing, and we can get a foothold in Cornwall gradually.
I mean, I think we'll like I say, we'll put that press release somewhere later on so that anybody that hasn't seen it can get easy access to it. The stadium looks fantastic as well, which will obviously be shared between the Pirates and the Rebels at some point. Should all of that go ahead. Let's obviously we were supposed to be joined by Derek. Unfortunately, for one reason or another, he can't get online, and I mean, hopefully at some point over the next, over the 2018 season, we'll catch up with him. One of the main reasons, obviously, for inviting Derek Bowman on here tonight was to talk about the Leigh friendly, and this is the preview for the League game. So we're going to skip over everything about Leigh because I don't think the three of us know too much about Leigh. There's Derek now. He's just put on there. So thanks a lot, Derek, for watching, and we appreciate your efforts for trying to get online tonight. and for even agreeing to come online. It's I'm sure there's not a lot of Super League owners that rugby league clubs. Sorry, I mentioned Super League. Rugby league club owners that would come on.
Oh dear.
I'm just alienating myself from Derek now. Sorry, Derek. So let's get the crack straight on. We're not going to forget the fact that Wigan did play today. We're not going to talk about it too much because I've only seen the tries and caught a few minutes of it myself today. Wigan beat London Skolars 54-12 in what was a very youthful-looking Wigan side, but with a few first-team players thrown in there. Let's talk, first of all, Matt, I'll throw this question to you first. Pre-season friendlies are a strange thing anyway, but what challenge do you think... Sorry, I'm just laughing at Derek's comment. Sorry, Derek, honestly, it just slips out. What sort of challenge do you think Leigh will pose for Wigan in terms of pre-season friendly, in terms of the preparation for the Salford game in a couple of weeks' time?
I think it's going to be a very physical game, isn't it? They're going to throw themselves. They're going to throw Mickey Higham at us. I mean, it's going to be one of those games where they'll just go for it hell for leather. The first 5 minutes are going to be such fun. Yeah,
I can't wait to see it. I mean, like I said, pre-season friendlies for me have seemingly they've changed over the years to this. They're not. You were not going to get a Wigan side 1 to 13 playing 80 minutes. We know that it's a strong squad that we're going to pick, and we'll get onto that. What do we see the purpose of Sunday being? Do you think it's a fitness thing? Is it obviously combinations?
I think it's probably a bit of both. It's fitness to some degree, but I think at the moment, bearing in mind all the questions about the spine and who's going to play where, it's going to be a case of trying out different things. I know that there will come a 10-minute period in that game somewhere, probably about the same time that I lose the feeling in my feet, that I will not have a clue who's playing in which position. It's going to be that kind of game.
Yeah. I think that might lead itself to maybe be a high-scoring game as well. Hopefully, obviously there'll be lots of interchanges, lots of chopping and changing. I'm not going to pass on to Gareth without acknowledging, Matt, that we must bow down to your wisdom in the fact that Sam Powell did get the number 7 jersey. You were the only person I've had on this show so far that said Sam Powell will be number 7 next year. Whether he plays there or not is yet to be seen, but we must bow down to that wisdom, Matt. Congratulations.
I wasn't going to mention that.
I had to get it in. It's like a dark cloud that's been over me ever since last Friday, and as soon as the squad numbers came out, that's the first thing that I thought about. Gareth, your thoughts on, first of all, the challenge that Leigh might possess? Obviously, there's a lot of ex-Wiganers naturally in the Leigh side. Nick Gregson, who left Wigan in the close season, is in line to make his debut. The likes of Harrison Hampson, of course, who's been there for a few years. What challenge do you think Leigh posed to Wigan?
Well, first and foremost, it's a local derby, isn't it, really? And regardless of whether it's a friendly or not, there's the supporters, the Leigh supporters will want to get one over their, old rivals, the noisy neighbours that for the last, few years have always done better than they have. But also, I'm not a fan of friendlies. I never have been, to be honest. I think they're a bit pointless. But I'm sure Sean Wayne won't tell you that it's pointless because, like Matt alluded to, and you did as well, there'll be combinations that they'll want to try. And in a friendly game is the perfect opportunity to try it. I think you'll see Luluai play at 7. I think you'll see Luluai play at 9. I think you see Powell play at 7. I think you'll see Powell play at 9. And, if one or the other of those goes spectacularly wrong, then in effect, it doesn't really matter. You would rather the experiment fail now than it does in a fortnight's time on the opening day against Salford. So it'll be interesting. Like you say, it'll be a mix of, first team youngsters. Will any of the players that played in the World Cup for England play? I don't know. They, how long have they been back in training? It'll be a good game. And like I say, farewell to Mickey Higham, who was a great servant for us. I was thinking about it today. He almost played for Wigan at the wrong time when Wigan were going through transition under Millward, and then we'll skip the Mild era because it was just a disaster. And then obviously Brian Noble rebuilt things. But yeah, Higham, unfortunately, with no disrespect to you, Mickey, if you're watching or someone plays back to you, I don't think you'll ever be considered a Wigan legend. But that's probably because of the players that you were playing around at the time. But what you were is a great servant to rugby league and the clubs you played for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's spot on, Matt. And Gareth, and I'll pass that over to Matt in just a second. Obviously, this is Mickey Hyam's testimonial. So Leigh, at the start of his career with distinction, got picked up by St Helens. Obviously, moved to Wigan via Bradford for about an hour as part of the Terry Newton transfer, because St Helens wouldn't sell him to Wigan. Obviously to Warrington, a fantastic servant for Warrington, and then he's gone back to his hometown club to be a true hometown hero for Leigh, and he certainly deserves the testimonial on Sunday. And I think one thing with Mickey Hyam is he's earned everybody's respect. He's had a fantastic career. He's capped for Great Britain, was capped for England at various points during his career. Matt, your thoughts on the departing Mickey Hyam, and do you think this will actually be the last that we see of Mickey Hyam? Do you think somebody, Mr. Beaumont, if he's still watching, is he going to tell him to keep fit throughout the year just in case?
I wouldn't count that out for a moment. I mean, I don't know how Leigh's season's going to go. I haven't a clue. It wouldn't surprise me to see Mickey Hyam donning a rugby league jersey again at some point this season. Yeah. As far as Mickey himself, I agree completely. He was in the Wigan side at completely the wrong time for him. But he's one of those rare things, because, I mean, we all know that hookers are naughty. So it's one of the things that our mothers tell us, isn't it? Oh, hookers, they're naughty. But he was.
I'm not even going to go there with what you.
He came across as a really genuinely nice bloke, and I don't know him. I suspect he is. He's one of those rare things in rugby league, a player that you just look at and you think, what a nice guy. I think he was Andy Coley's mini-me. I think you got two very nice people there.
Yeah, and like you said, he was a fantastic servant to rugby league in general, hasn't he? He's been a fantastic hooker. Somebody that I think found his place probably at Warrington, predominantly after he left Wigan, being the interchange. Him and Monaghan sort of interchanging were deadly at times, and probably played in that dominant spell of Warrington in the Super League over those few years where they were, although they didn't win the grand final, they were very dominant in their performances and in the attacking rugby. And I think from the three of us, Mickey, if you ever come across this, enjoy your retirement. But I don't think any of us believe that you actually are going to retire. I think we do expect to see you at some point, maybe back in a Leigh shirt towards the end of the season if injuries do prevail. We'll have a quick conversation. Leigh, myself, and Matt sort of spoke about who we expected to maybe challenge last Friday, who we expected to go down. Gareth, interested just to get your thoughts maybe on, I don't know how much you know perhaps about Leigh as their recruitment, but do you expect them? Obviously, we don't know what the structure is going to be in 2019, which makes this question almost null and void, I guess. But the strength of this side, would you expect them to be challenging to come back up for 2019?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that Derek's not with us. He may have been able to answer that question better than us. But their squad from last year hasn't been decimated like other squads when teams have been relegated. Well, not many teams have been relegated in years gone by, but when promotion and relegation was the norm in rugby league in the last few years of the winter and in the first few years of summer rugby, squads often got decimated, and the team going up sort of almost cherry-picked the players off the team that was going down. Yeah. But Leigh have kept the bulk of their squad together. I think they'll go all right. I think that the Championships, it's a strange league. What's Toronto going to bring to the party? Well, I think everyone that had them down as firm favourites up until yesterday, and then they lose three of their big hitters for whatever reason, and we can only assume that it's something disciplinary related, because why on earth would you lose three players of that calibre that have played at the highest level in the NRL and that have won Super League Grand Finals and have played in World Cups for England and played for Great Britain. Why would you let the players like that go? So you just don't know what. Yeah, I think Leigh will be there or thereabouts. They'll definitely make the top 4. I think Toronto will as well. And then it could be one of any of the other clubs of Featherstone or Halifax or London Broncos, who've gone really well over the last few years. Although they've lost Henderson to Warrington, that'll be a massive, massive loss for them. But no, I expect Leigh to go okay, and they'll be there or thereabouts. Biggest fan base really in that league. You'd like to think that the supporters that were with them last year in Super League will stick with them for the coming Championship season.
I mean, I think as Wigan fans, having that extra friendly, that extra derby, rather than friendly, that Leigh brings to the regular season is always a plus, and I think we would always welcome Leigh in the top flight. I think last year the league probably missed the Hull derby a little bit, and the Leigh Wigan derby doesn't compare to that really, in terms of the Hull City derby. But I think there's got to be a place for Leigh in a top division, whether that's being a 14-team division, only time will tell. But Matt, just to throw over to you the point that Gareth just made then about obviously Toronto throwing out 3 of the big hitters. Would you take Dave Taylor in place of Big Frank Paul, the wrecking ball?
No.
Why not?
Well, because I have no idea what he's been kicked out of Toronto for.
Yeah, true.
And that worries me slightly. I always worry about picking up players who, have got that kind of reputation. Because one thing that matters to me more than anything else is kind of how well our players conduct themselves and their buy-in to the side and the team and the club. Yeah. And as great as they might be, Taylor and Moy and the other fella who played for Leeds, as great as they may be, I don't see that kind of commitment to Wigan from them.
You don't have to lie. Ryan Bailey's not great. Let's be honest. Let's give Fufu, Moy and Dave Taylor the credit, but let's not give Ryan Bailey any credit. Particularly not on here. There's a comment here from Tony just about the game today. Like I said, we acknowledge the fact that Wigan played today and ran in 10 tries. We're not going to focus too much on it, but yeah, some real natural size. I mean, from what I've seen, Sammy Kabula looked really good today. I think Sammy Kabula is probably the one player that I'm most excited and concerned about in the same breath. Maybe he was so dominant in the under-19s over the past few years, and he's such a big lad. For him to now come up against men, full-grown size men, is going to be the biggest challenge for him. But he still looked big on the pitch today from what I saw, Tony. And I think you're absolutely right. There's some, as every season with Wigan when they go down to Capital Challenge and play London Scholars, there's some exceptional talent there, and it's something to be really excited about, and something that we're really excited about as Wigan fans. But we're going to focus on the Leigh Wigan game. The Wigan squad, Gareth, I assume you've seen the Wigan squad. It's pretty much 1 to 13, and then everybody else beyond that. Only John Bateman missing. It's the strongest squad we can possibly go for. It's unusual, I think, for this first pre-season, that the first team go out to have such a dominant side. What are your thoughts on the squad? Is it maybe a sort of an acknowledgement that the way 2017 ended was below standard?
Yeah, possibly. Like I said, I don't expect. I think Matt said that with any friendly, there'll become a time in the game when you won't know sort of whether you're coming or going in regarding to who's on the pitch. But I would really like you say, because of how badly 2017 was just a dreadful year for it. It really was dreadful. Can't dress it up as, I know people say we got to the Challenge Cup final, but it was dreadful. It really was. We never looked like challenging. You could have never seen us playing at Old Trafford. Never. So it would have been a share.
It wouldn't have been right if we would have been there.
No. I mean, as it was, I thought the final was a bit of an anticlimax. But really, I suppose the best two sides got there. But for us going forward, it would be nice if the team that walks out on the pitch and plays for the first 20 minutes is almost our best side, that may give us an indication of where we are for 2018. Because, Sean Wayne doesn't need us to tell him that 2017 was rubbish. He knows that. All right, there was mitigating circumstances. We didn't see Sam until halfway through the season. His brother hardly played again. O'Loughlin was in and out of the side. Whether that will change, that's a big shame, really. The fact that I think this will probably be the last season we'll see Sean O'Loughlin because he just can't keep going at that level. But I think a lot of people have criticised the recruitment, although we've almost sort of like just replaced what we've lost. And I think our squad last year was actually good enough if we got our best side on the pitch and performing as well. But we never got our best side on the pitch due to injuries. And then when we did, they didn't perform. So something's got to give this year. I think we were in a little bit of a false position if you looked at our squad last year. But in terms of performance and injuries, we were probably about right. So I'd like to see for at least 20 minutes, half an hour, our best side play. And like I said, whether that's Lulawai at 7 or Lulawai at 9 or whatever, I'm not sure.
Sam Powell at 7.
But just on that, it does worry me that we've perhaps gone into the season without a specialist hooker. I know in years gone by, Wigan, you say that access of the Wigan side. The Wigan side has always been based around a strong number 9. The first teams I started watching, Martin Hall and Martin Dermott, and then players like Mickey Hyam and Mickey Mack and players like that. So it does sort of worry me a little bit, but I think we just got to go with Sean Wayne's the man that knows, obviously. Because if he didn't, then I think we would have gone out and tried to sign someone, or we wouldn't have let McAlorum go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got Tommy Lulu. I think a lot's been pinned on Tommy Luluwai at 9. He didn't look happy at 7 last year, and I think 9 is his position. And I think I read somewhere in one of the many interviews that he actually requested to get more game time at hooker this year. It was his personal request. His desire to play hooker rather than at 7. And later on in his career, where the latter stages of his career that he's in now, I think he could probably surprise you, Gareth, at number 9. And I hope.
I'm not saying I'm adverse to it. I think there are benefits to it. The fact that you've got someone who's going to maybe play at hooker that's played at halfback, so instantly you've got a hooker with a good kicking game. Now, how many other hookers in Super League can you say, well, he's got a really, really good, hookers traditionally haven't been players that could kick the ball. So we have, but I just, the other thing is injuries. You say he's in the latter stages of his career.
Yeah.
If he gets injured early doors, and I'm touching wood here, Tommy, and I hope you don't, but if Tommy got injured early doors, then what do we do?
Josh Ganson, and that's every single episode I've said Josh Ganson's name. So as well as Matt getting commission for every number 7 Pell shirt printed, every time I mention Josh Ganson, I'm going to get something, I think. And he actually, talking of hookers that kick, Josh Ganson actually kicked a 40-20 whilst I was watching today as well. So him and Sammy Kabula are the 2 people that I'm going to mention every single show this year in hope that they actually go on to be world-class players. Matt, some good points there by Gareth. I mean, we've obviously spoken about the whole squad last Friday and what our expectations are. I guess that first 20 minutes, like you both said, is going to be key. What strikes you about the squad that Sean Wayne's named for the league game? The strength in depth does look incredibly strong, when it's put down on paper.
He's thrown the big guns at Leigh, hasn't he? Yeah. And that's the exciting thing. It's like a statement of intent right from the very start. And that's part of the reason why I'm really looking forward to Sunday. I can't wait to get to Leigh and see those players run out onto the pitch.
Yeah, it should be a great game. Yeah, just any rugby league at this stage, to be honest with you. It's like, even today, for what I saw of the Scholars game, just people playing rugby at this time of year. It hasn't been that long since the World Cup final, but it just seems like ages. And I think there's such an excitement and such an uncertainty over Wigan this year that makes there's an added nervousness, I think, to pre-season. One question that I've got for both of you, and I'll start with you this time, Matt, is what constitutes a good Sunday for Wigan? We've talked about us as Wigan fans being very fickle, and as soon as something goes wrong, we're the first to complain about it, and we perhaps don't appreciate what we've got at times. But can you see if the combinations don't work in the first 20 minutes, some grumblings, and we should have, basically by the time we come to the Salford game, we're all sort of saying, why didn't they sign a recognised 7 or a recognised 9?
There will always be grumblings, always. But I think what we need to see on Sunday, I want to see the forwards get on top. I want to see quick play the balls. I want to see that momentum of a Wigan team rolling forward, because I think a lot of questions have been asked about our forwards lately, and I think those questions are a little bit unfair. And so I want to see that first and foremost, and then once we've got that, and I hate that it's such a cliche, isn't it? Once we've got that platform, then I want to see those kind of the halfbacks working together, and just to see what is going to happen there. But it's going to be experimental. It's going to be an experimental game.
It is. I just feel like it's a bit of a no-win. Possibly it could be a no-win situation for Sean Wayne, because he needs to get people up to speed. Gareth mentioned obviously the players coming back from the World Cup. They're not going to get many minutes. They've only been in training since the start of the month. But as soon as something doesn't go right, there is this real danger that us as a community perhaps don't get behind the team as much, and I think that's key. You can't look too much into these results, and perhaps not even the 80-minute performance that we're going to see, because there's going to be so many changes. There's going to be so many combinations. Gareth, what do you hope to see on Sunday? What would be the perfect game for you? Come 5 o'clock Sunday night.
No injuries. No injuries to. I think ultimately it's about the players having a competitive hit out, getting the ball in their hands. Like Matt said, the forwards making some hard yards, and laying on the platform. One of those old rugby cliches. But no, do you know the one player I'm really excited, I'm looking forward to seeing is Sam Tompkins this year. He has got a massive point to prove after his injury. I mean, before he went off to the NRL and the New Zealand Warriors, he was probably... Was he as good as Billy Slater? No, I don't think you can compare anyone to say they were as good as Billy Slater. But Sam Tompkins wasn't far behind Billy Slater, and perhaps hasn't kicked on to the next level because of his injuries. And I think this is Sam's year. I really do. He's had a full pre-season behind him. Didn't go to the World Cup, obviously, and he wouldn't have got in the side even if he had gone. Even if he had gone. If he'd gone to Australia, I don't think. I'm really excited to see Sam this year, because I think he's going to be a massive player for us. I really do. I'd love to see the Tompkins of 2010, 2011, 2012, because it'll be like signing a new player. Because even though he played for the second half of last season, I still don't think he was quite up to speed. Because he battled back for his injury.
Yeah, I think that's. Do you know what? It seems daft. He's one of our two marquee players, and he's almost somebody that I've not given too much attention to in pre-season, because we know he's there, and that's a fantastic thought. The fact that we've got a Sam Tompkins back in the side, playing at he's got the number 1 shirt, playing at fullback. I'm sure he will get a run out at halfback at some point, but. A fully fit Sam Tompkins, probably for the first time in 6-7 years that he's had probably even longer, that he's had a full pre-season, and he is a fantastic talent. There's no doubt about that. And I think one of the great things that Sam Tompkins brings to the game now is this playmaker ability, that he's not just pace anymore. He isn't he has pace, but he doesn't have that pace of 2011, 2012. So he's had to adapt his game. And I think it's perhaps realising what that adaptation is. And he is just absolutely absolutely quality, and I think he is that added playmaker that you're absolutely right, Gareth. We missed and didn't get the most of last year, and I think you're right. It could be like a new signing. I know what Matt's thoughts are on the halfback combination. I think everybody at the Wigan club does as well. And Gareth, I assume do you see Tompkins as a fullback with Escaré being an interchange, or do you see him as a halfback?
Well, I mean, when he first burst onto the scene, he was a halfback, Tompkins, and he sort of got shifted to fullback. I suppose it's a good problem for Sean Wayne to have, that you can have someone that can play in either position, and you've got Morgan Escaré, who we say how big Sam is. Morgan Escaré didn't disgrace himself. He's a very, very good player, and on his day, he'd probably walk into most Super League teams. But like you say, with our questions at halfback, it is another option. You say about halfback, I think it's a big season for George Williams as well. And we obviously beat off competition for his signature. He's our second marquee player, so he didn't go to the NRL. Obviously, he didn't play much at the World Cup, but when he did, he wasn't Wayne Bennett's first choice for England. So he's had to sort of lick his wounds a little bit for that. And I think George Williams is could have a big season for us. I really do. Whoever he ends up playing alongside, whether it's Sam Powell it is Sam Powell according to Matt, or whether it could be Tommy Luluai.
Well, we're going to get your thoughts on that. Obviously, like we said at the start of the programme, the squad numbers were released. You said number 7, Sam Powell, that's where he's going to play. Sean Wayne's had a master plan for a number of years. Sam Powell will be number 7. They were your words, and you absolutely.
Did I say that?
I'm sure you did. I might be sort of adding a little bit. I might be giving you a bit too much credit, but now that the squad numbers are released, and you've got Escaré, Shorrocks, Tompkins, Powell, Luluai, everybody in the squad for Sunday. What is your idea of where we're going 1, 6, 7, 9 in light of those squad numbers? Perhaps to start the game on Sunday.
I'd like to see us start rather conservatively with people in their squad number positions, and then I'd just like to see the experimenting. I did mention Sam Powell for 7, but I'm more than happy to see the kind of bringing on Escaré, moving people around, and to me that's quite exciting. The fact that we don't yet know exactly what our spine is going to be when we walk out onto that grand final pitch. We don't know how the team's going to line up in the Challenge Cup final, and it's going to be fun finding out. I'm quite looking forward to the first few games of the season and seeing how things pan out.
I think it's interesting that we've gone for such a strong squad, like I said, for the first friendly. We've obviously got Swinton next week, so whether we actually go as strong into the Swinton game or maybe mix it up a little bit, obviously time will tell. This is our second preview show. I did a little bit of a preview show with Simon Fox from London Scholars the other night before the Scholars game. It is only a friendly, but I think during the season, whoever joins me on the preview shows, we're going to ask for people's predictions. It's a friendly. I'll be amazed if we get this right. But Gareth, tell me who you're going for first of all. First try scorer and your score prediction for Sunday.
So I'm going to go with first try. God, that's a difficult one. That is.
You've got the choice of 23 players as well with being a friendly.
I think we're going to win by 15 points.
15. So we're going for a drop goal, are we?
10 to 15, 10 to 15 points. We're gonna win.
What do you know?
We're going to win. I wouldn't say it'd be comfortably, but we're going to win with something to spare. Let's go for Joe Burgess to score Let's go for Burgess to score the first try, because I think he will like we said. I think we will put a strong side out.
To start with, definitely.
The 1 to 13. Well, it might not be 1 to 13 exactly, but it will more or less be the team that will start against Salford in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah. I mean, like I said at the top of the only player missing really is John Bateman, who apparently delayed surgery on his finger so that he could continue in the World Cup and risked losing all feeling in his finger to do so. Not quite as bad as the NRL player who I can't remember his name, who actually had his finger amputated, so that he's fit for the start of the NRL season. But I'm sure John Bateman would have done that to make sure that he would play rugby. Matt, first try scorer and your score prediction.
I was going to go one better. I agree, Joe Burgess, but I think it's going to come from a George Williams kick. So I'm going a step further there.
Do you want to tell us the minute as well? Because I mean, you got the shirt number right. So if anybody's going to the game, we can put this on.
3 minutes 28 seconds.
Perfect. Right, there you go. Put 50p on that, and you might get it right. Anybody that's watching this live or watches this on demand, put your score predictions in the comments box like we've got there, and we'll see if anybody gets it right. I'll go for Gildart first try scorer, and I'm going to go for like a ridiculous score, 48-32 to Wigan. I'm going to go. What's your score prediction, Matt? Did you say, or did you just tell me the score?
I didn't say because I don't know. I think it'll be one of those games where after 60 minutes or so, the score won't matter anymore, and it could be the case that at the 60-minute mark we're winning by 20 points. Then there'll be a complete shuffle around with the team, and Leigh will end up winning by 50 points. It could be one of those friendly games.
I think you're probably right, and I think the next time I come on here next week, and I'm not quite sure who will be joined by, but Gareth, if Wigan do get a drop goal, then again, you may be our sort of new Matt in terms of predictions. You never know. We've got a rugby union kicking coach now, so you never know. That might be part of the game. Just go up in points. Guys, thank you so much again for taking the time out of your Friday evenings to join me. Obviously, thanks again to Derek Beaumont. Unfortunately, he couldn't get online, but we appreciate his interaction on the comments and attempting to get online. And like I say, I think that's credit to the Leigh Club and credit to Derek himself for actually even attempting to get involved with a venture that is celebrating its first week birthday today. We're only a week old, and we're in excess of 50,000 views across the various platforms. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time to watch it. I hope you're all enjoying it. Matt, thank you very much. I'm sure I'll speak to you very shortly. Gareth, thank you for your commitment tonight and getting involved, and congratulations on sort of the Cornish connection and the press release today, and we'll make sure that we get that publicised. And if anybody's got any questions about Cornish Rugby League or the future of that, I'm sure we'll get Gareth on to maybe do a bit of a feature on that, particularly looking at the expansion towards the Rugby League World Cup in 4 years' time, hopefully down in Cornwall. So, guys, thank you very much. We'll end it there, and we'll see if any of us are right on Sunday afternoon, and enjoy the game.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you later, guys.